Interdimensional meditation astral travel report for the live meditation we did Thursday, March 26th. In that meditation, the central sun blasted Earth with new 5D timeline energy. Hello, welcome back. This is the Michael Denney channel. Disclosure is coming. Open contact is here. If you're doing these meditations, both you and I are proof of open contact. All right, so we did a meditation last night, which was Wednesday, March 26th. And it was, once again, a very powerful meditation. It went in a little, for me anyway, it went in kind of a different direction. I think I was trying some new things were coming to me. And yeah, so what we did is we made some specific intentions to create timeline shifts, and we're going to see if they come about in this next week. So it'll be an experiment. I have an idea for maybe the next one. We'll try a different twist on this, but the idea is that we're taking full responsibility for this reality and we're going to change it. And unless, don't wait around for the shift to happen, the ascension to happen. Don't wait around. We're going to do it ourselves because that's what we're being told, that we're the ones that do it. We have the power, and all of the gods and the ETs and the light beings come and join us in these meditations to empower us to make the shift. So let's go ahead and get into that. By the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, live guided interdimensional meditations every Wednesday and Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on this YouTube channel. They are live, they are live streamed, they are free. And if you can't make the live stream, then just go to the live section on the Michael Denney YouTube channel, and you can see the archived pre-recorded versions, and you can do any of these meditations. You can go back and do, if you like ones, go back and do them. They're completely free. My opinion, they're the single most powerful thing anybody can be doing for their own empowerment, as well as the empowerment and the shifting of planet Earth. And I am determined. My entire life is completely focused on shifting this planet to a higher frequency. And I invite you to come along. I'd love to have all the help I can get. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I remember happening. All right, so the Interdimensional Meditation Report for March 26th. Light being suggests I do channeling readings for clients. All right, so why am I talking about that? This is like, days ago, maybe a week or so ago. Why am I talking about this? Well, if you're doing these meditations and you follow my advice during the meditations, and I say, ask these beings, first make contact with a light being, whether that's an extraterrestrial light being or a god or whatever being shows up. There's a light being that will show up for you. And to ask these beings to give you information, to show you how they see you, to show you who you are outside of this third dimension. I encourage you to ask them to show you so that you can start the reintegration process, which is, we're in the third dimension. We chose to come here. It's a video game, just like the Matrix. We come here, we forget who we are. We get wrapped up in this thing. We think, my name is so-and-so. I was born in this year. I do this. I'm this tall. I'm this race. We believe all of it. And the truth is that this is just a video game. Yeah, it may last, depending on how old you are, 90 years or 100 years if you're lucky. But it's a video game. And just like in this life, when you're playing a role-playing video game, you have an avatar. That avatar isn't you. It's a fictional character. And that fictional character in the video game has abilities and limitations based on the fictional character that the game allows you to have and that you've created. Exact same thing's going on here. This whole life is about gaining more abilities and shifting your identity and all of that. But normally, up until this point in human history, we have not been able to reintegrate with our higher dimensional self while we're still in this physical body. This is the first time that has happened. That is what's going to happen in 5D. In 5D, people will know who they are outside of this reality and still be a physical being, albeit on a higher frequency. So this is happening now, and I'm calling it reintegration. If you haven't watched it already, I encourage you to watch the Apple series called Severance, where one of the characters begins to go through reintegration, and it's very similar to what we're talking about. So this is the whole point of these meditations for you personally. For the world, the point is to use our power to shift the world to the next level. So we are spiritual warriors, and I think we're the single most powerful thing that allows other people on earth to do their job to change the world. All right? So what does that have to do with Light Being suggests I do channeling readings for clients? Because when you interact with these beings, they will tell you something completely beyond your imagination. They're going to tell you you're a god. They're going to tell you you're a goddess. They're going to tell you you created universes, that you have the power to, create plants, that you're the lord of all the plant life. They're going to tell you that you have and I'm telling you things that people have been told. Not just what I've been told, but what people have been told. You'll have the power to create electromagnetic grids between dimensions to help create, it's just crazy fantasy sci-fi stuff. It's completely beyond our understanding. And your third dimensional avatar mind will resist that because it's trying to take you out of the being trapped in this matrix. So the part of you that's connected to the matrix is going to resist that. So the reason why I share Light Being comes to me and suggests that I do channeled readings, I didn't want to do that. That was the most embarrassing thought I could have, is to be a psychic. That is not something that I've ever wanted to do. I think that most, if not all, channelers I've ever seen and heard are full of crap. They're either deluded or they're con people, con artists. Most psychics, not all, most psychics are not real. So this is, I'm a very practical person. This is not something I wanted to do. But it was in response to me, struggling with, as you've been hearing, this channel in my business has to evolve in some new direction. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to continue to do what I'm doing. I'm not going to be able to pay the bills. So Light Being shows up one day and says, hey, here's an idea. Why don't you start doing interdimensional Light Being channelings for people? And I put it off for a few days, and then I said, you know what? I have to say yes. I have to go against my resistance to higher dimensional experience. So I said, okay. And that's when I created this website, channel.thunderwizard.com. Nothing came of it, so I stopped promoting it. 1 or 2 people signed up, and my first client was yesterday before we did the meditation. And to be honest, I didn't think anything was going to happen. I was just following orders. And sure enough, as soon as the Zoom meeting started, tons of energy hit me, and it was like I'd been doing this my whole life. And, I'm not going to, but I could read to you what the individual just emailed me. Completely transformed their life. They've now tapped into it. They're reintegrating to their higher self. And so wow, this is a real thing. I'm going to do this. I should continue to keep saying yes to these beings. So That put me in a state before we did the meditation, because I just finished that and I just had a little time to sort of get, and I was already off into the stratosphere. So before the live interdimensional meditation, I do my first channeling. It was a huge success. And then as I'm sitting there getting ready, just relaxing, getting ready for the meditation, a light being visits me before the interdimensional meditation and upgrades me to the next level, ? So being shows up. This is important because whenever I take action that is, in ways that really stretch me, that really go against what my ego wants me to do, it really goes against my impulses, and I can't stress it enough. It's very important that you have the ability to have the consciousness to know what to do and have the strength to be able to take action, even if it goes against all of your impulses, all of your 3D human instincts. You have to be willing to do that. And when you do that, the entire universe responds. The universe responds to your actions, not to your feelings. Unlike what you hear, I was working with somebody, and what I do is I help people find what their soul wants to do, and I help them craft actions, strategies that they can take, actions they can take towards that, so that they can evolve, be happy, be prosperous, be healthy. And I was working with one person, and they had been making a lot of progress, and then they all of a sudden decided to stop. And they said, I'm going to stop doing that thing we were talking about. By the way, in case people are listening to me, this was a couple of years ago. So, I work with a lot of people. I'm not talking about any of you that's listening to me now. This was a couple of years ago. And this person said, I'm going to stop taking that action. And I found another channel. And what they're telling me on that channel is to just simply believe that everything's going to be okay, and just to think positive, and that's what I'm going to do. And I said, I can't help you. And they had already decided they wanted to move on. So I don't know what happened, but that is the exact opposite of what we need to do. What we need to do is be conscious of where we need to go, where our soul wants to go. And then we must be willing to take the actions, no matter how frightening, no matter how embarrassing, no matter how confusing, no matter what. You have to take the action. And when you do, the universe immediately responds to that. Now, you may not know that, but the universe immediately goes and responds in direct response to your actions. So this light being shows up after I do the reading, right? And I've got something like, a half an hour to get myself prepared for the meditation. So I'm just lying there, just relaxing. Being shows up, a powerful being shows up. And they always show up. By the way, they don't just barge into my reality. I'll get what I call a text. I'll get a energy jolt in my heart, and it's usually just very subtle but very blissful. And if I listen to it, I go, oh, somebody wants to talk to me. So I'll close my eyes and say, yes. Is somebody here? Is there somebody that would like to talk to me? I'm here. I'm all ears. And this very powerful being shows up and starts to talk about how I'm going to, again, very grandiose. I'm going to expand into something, and they start talking on, level, God, deity type levels. And, anyway, I won't get into all that. You'll have your own experience. And then the being says, and we're going to shift you up to the next level. And, that's interesting. So we're going to give you an energy shift right now. Are you ready? Yep, I'm ready. Here it comes. And sure enough, I feel this energy shift me up, and I see in my mind the being pulling me up to a higher frequency. And then they said, "Great, there it is." That's and it's obvious it's because I did this thing that was embarrassing to me, that I, channeled. Somebody had questions about their life, and I said, "Okay, let's see what they say," like a psychic. And sure enough, I'm hearing and feeling, not hearing, but I'm telepathically hearing and feeling and seeing things, and turns out to be something that's life-changing for this person, and I feel the power. In fact, it doesn't ever go away. So that's important, because that had a big impact on our interdimensional meditation. So the light being visits me before live interdimensional meditation and upgrades me to the next level. I arrive to the live interdimensional meditation in an altered state. The interdimensional energy escalates quickly. So I showed up here, usually, like everybody else, I kind of try to, we do the Hool breath, we get connected, we fire up our instrument. I was already gone. So, I don't know. I don't really know what happened in fact, I don't know how we started off. So if you remember what we did yesterday, please put in the comments section your experiences, where you went, what you heard, what you saw. Remind me of where I took you, because I probably won't remember. I'm almost certain I won't remember all of it. So share in the comments what your experience was, what you saw, what you felt, what you heard, and what I'm forgetting. So we go to the 4th dimension and the 9th dimension, and then merge with Shiva. So if I remember, after I think probably connecting and doing the Hool breath in the beginning, I don't remember what happened after that. We went up the shaft of light through the crown that was going through us. We went up the shaft of light, and we went up just one dimension. Now, why would we only go to the 4th dimension? Bear in mind, please do your research on my channel about what dimensions are. People throw out the word dimension and alternate timeline and alternate universe, and they conflate them. And these are 3 completely different things. An alternate universe is another universe in the 3rd dimension. It's another universe similar to ours with the laws of the 3rd dimension. Dimensions are spatial. They're not how you feel. Oh, I'm in a happy mood. I'm in the 5th dimension. I'm 5D because I feel so happy. That's not the 5th dimension. It's maybe a higher frequency in the 3rd dimension. But an alternate universe is another universe in the 3rd dimension. 3rd dimension is up, down, forward, backward, left, and right. So unless you're moving in a completely different direction that is beyond the understanding of a 3rd dimensional mind, you're in the 3rd dimension. An alternate timeline, that is this universe, but it's following a different sequence of events. I'm not going to get into whether timelines actually exist. It's a good metaphor for what actually happens, and it works well with the 3rd dimensional mind, so I'm happy to use that. Separate timelines aren't the same as separate dimensions or separate universes. And then there are higher dimensions. So you've heard people who don't understand what dimensions are, and who have never experienced higher dimensions, like David Icke, who say they come from the 4th dimension, the evil beings. It's impossible. Evil beings only come from the 3rd dimension and below. How do I know that? I've experienced it. Don't listen to anybody who doesn't have personal experience. They read it from a book, they saw it on a YouTube video, they heard David Icke say it, it must be true. If they can't back it up with personal experience and knowledge, don't listen to them. That's my suggestion. You can choose to believe me or not believe me, but it's you can't say that I don't at least have the belief that I have experience. I have experiences behind everything I say. So the fourth dimension is the dimension of time. Why is that? We're actually in the fourth dimension. The third dimension is inside the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is time. The third dimension travels through the fourth dimension in a linear fashion from what we experience as being past to future. So if you want to change a timeline, you want to go up to the fourth dimension. So I didn't plan this out. We're doing the meditation, and I get the intuition to go up to the fourth dimension. I don't know why, because I want to go all the way up. So okay, we'll go up to the fourth dimension, and then it becomes apparent to me that we're going to shift timelines. We're going to change the future. We're going to bring about the future that we want. So I don't remember what happened. Put in the comments what you remember, what we did. But we did something having to do with intending. I think I suggested that everybody come up with an event that they wanted to see happen to help shift the world. Put in the comments what you remember. So we go to the fourth dimension, then we go to the ninth dimension. So the ninth dimension, and I don't remember what happened there either. I don't remember why we went to the ninth dimension. I believe, if I'm remembering, we went to the ninth dimension to communicate with the Council of 13. Again, I can't tell you why, I just was going with what was being shown to me. If I remember, I suggested that you communicate with one of these council members. I can't remember anything beyond that. I know I had a very, what seemed like a very lengthy communication with one of those beings. I can't remember what I said. I can't remember what happened. I think I met with an architect somewhere. In one of the dimensions, I met with an architect who was a timeline architect. That's all I remember. What did you experience? And then we went from the ninth dimension, we went all the way up to the highest, which was where Shiva sits. As I scratch my crown chakra. Shiva sits at the top of the dimensions, and I don't remember what happened there. We merged with Shiva, something, I don't know. You tell me in the comments what you remember. I don't remember. Came back down. Okay, let's see, what else? So we then go to the galactic center and we blast the sun and the earth with the new timeline. So we come back with an idea of what we want to have happen. And we gathered in front of the central sun, which is, of course, a black hole, which is a portal that can go directly into the heart of any of the planets, in our solar system. And so we sent a wormhole directly to the sun and directed the sun to send energy to the earth. And I do remember that before we did that, we came out of these higher dimensions and came back to the third dimensional universe, and all of the gods were there, all of the light beings and all of the gods, and this was very important. So they were already there. We didn't have to summon them there. Might always be the case, but I didn't feel the need to summon them. They were already there. So we then went to the galactic center, and we blasted the intention that we had. Each of us had a specific intention, and we blasted it through the galactic sun directly to our sun, so that it would then go to the earth. And then, if I remember correctly, we went through the portal into the sun, and then we went shooting out of the coronal hole, because there's a huge coronal hole that is facing the earth right now from the sun. And so I don't know if any storms have been released. I don't think so, but there's a lot of solar wind and radiation that's coming from there. So we sent that to the Earth, and then what happened? Then we go to the Galactic Center, blast the Sun Earth with the new timeline. Then we go to the new 5D Earth. So again, at that point, when we're at that level of the meditation, it's very hard for me to remember what we did. I remember that we went there, connected to I don't remember. It's just, we get to that point and I feel like, I could stay there forever. And, I have to end the meditation at some point, so I do. And you are allowed to keep your essence there and come back here to the third dimension. So we ended the meditation. And then the next day, today, I wake up and all day I've been very tired, wondering what happened. I'm feeling like, first wondering, why am I so tired? But, it was a huge day for me. I mean, I took action. I blasted myself out of my comfort zone. I got visited personally and upgraded, and then we did this meditation, which I found to be very powerful. And so I'm trying to integrate, which is kind of hard to do when you're living in multiple dimensions, and I am. But, those big shifts I find sometimes can be, a little, I can feel tired afterwards, and I can also feel like, what am I doing here? I start looking at the world and go, why is the world like this? Why do we do, stupid things that we take for granted? I haven't gone anywhere today yet, but, sometimes when I go to the grocery store, you think about it, it's so ridiculous. Go to the grocery store, this huge block, the size of a city block, filled with every single possible food and beverage and other things you can imagine. And, you go pick out. We take it for granted. Our ancestors, go back 100 years. We don't have to go back that far. 100 years, 200 years. We put them into one of our modern day grocery stores. They would be like, oh my God. And you only pay what? It would take me, do you realize how much time and effort it would take me to get that steak? I would have to raise a cow. I would have to kill it. I would have to slaughter it. That would be, it's just crazy. For us, we just go there, throw out. But then we do this weird thing where we pull out a piece of plastic. And first, we used to put the plastic into a device and it would read from the thing on the back. We don't even do that now. We just tap it. It's so symbolic. It's just, here's something, and we just go beep, beep, beep. And we paid for it. And nothing has happened. Nothing physically has happened. Some numbers went from one computer bank account to another computer bank account. That's all that happened. Some numbers that don't exist. And sometimes I look at it and I go, I can't believe that we take this seriously. Beep, beep, beep. And, when we do these meditations, it becomes more and more, I think about the silliness of what we take for granted. And we think it's real. So those are the kinds of places that I go afterwards. Like, I want to get to a real world where real things are happening, real connections, real interactions, both emotionally, physically, psychologically, spiritually, and materially. I want, to get back to a real material world, where, we want to exchange stuff. You got something I want, I got something that you want, and we exchange real things for it. Instead of plastic, nothing, beep, beep, beep. And we think it's real. We think money. We think there was an exchange of money. Nothing happened. It's all nonsense. It's a big, giant Ponzi scheme we live in. So, seeking to integrate this new 5D identity into my 3D avatar. So I did have a huge upgrade and of who I am. And it's along the lines of everything you can imagine. I also had the awareness of, the past life that I shared about, the past life that had been told to me by Pleiadians, which I then finally read about in some ancient Islamic historian had written about the king who built the pyramids. And there was a detail in there that finally filled in the blank for me about some things that the Pleiadians had told me about that didn't make sense to me. That it was hard to believe because they told me, here's what you did, and I talk about it in the most recent video. So that was also going on. Bear in mind, I have to make the decision to choose to believe these things. I know that there's got to be people out there that think I'm deluded. There's got to be people out there that think I'm just a narcissistically deluded person. But what you don't understand, if you have that feeling, is that I'm not emotionally attached to any of these stories. Choosing to believe this does not somehow boost my ego. Not in any way whatsoever. And I have to make the decision to choose to believe it. Now, the evidence is continuing to get overwhelmingly, undeniable to me. The more evidence keeps piling up that, wow, they've been telling me the truth. I really am getting accurate communications and messages, and this has to be true. I don't personally, in my avatar, I don't identify with any of it. It doesn't do anything for me ego-wise. It doesn't do anything for me in the world. I can't go anywhere and say, oh yeah, did you know who I was in a past life? Nobody's going to care. I'm not unaware of that. So it takes effort for me to do that, and it's sometimes challenging. I'm only sharing that with you just so that in case you're having that experience also, you're not alone. And I am excited to see my new timeline event take place. I haven't told anybody what it is, and I don't need anybody. You can share your timeline event if you want in the comments. But I'm excited to see if during this next week, what I intended happens or not. And I think what we'll do going forward, at least we'll experiment with it, is, if you want to put in the comments your idea what would be a good thing for all of us to focus on. So instead of each of us having our own specific timeline shifting event, let's focus on one together and see what happens. So I've got some ideas. But I'd like to hear your ideas. What would you like to see happen in the world? An event that it's got to be unbelievable. It's got to be something that would be impossible. And it's got to be something that we could actually track in the news and see. So throw your idea down there in the bottom, and in our next meditation, I'll see how I feel. But maybe in our next meditation, we will. I'll come up with an idea, or maybe yours if I like it. All right, so I really appreciate all of the response I've been getting. Of course, showing up, doing the meditations, watching the videos. I'm very, very grateful for the people who are taking action on my challenge. So I put out a challenge a while ago, and my challenge is I'm challenging 20 of you who watch this channel to go here to thunderwizard.com and subscribe at the Thunder Wizard Patreon page at the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong or above. So I'm especially interested in challenging those of you who have just come and all you do is watch the videos. Listen, it's a YouTube channel. There's no shortage of channels. I just watch the videos. I don't subscribe. Blah, blah, blah. So if you're one of those people that just, maybe you are subscribed, you watch the channel, you like hearing me talk about this stuff. Maybe you come and do the interdimensional meditations, but that's it. I challenge you to go the next step. Take some action. And the action is to do the practices that I'm teaching. Do the energy practices. And there's so many. It's not like I have one and, I did that one. Not like I have just one meditation. I mean, I can't even count how many different energy practices there are. I encourage you to push yourself to the next level. Try something you haven't done. You did the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. Now you're ready. You don't want to subscribe to that again. Good. There's plenty of other things that you can do. There's plenty of things in the shop. It blows my mind the amount of practices, meditations, teachings that are there, and people aren't taking advantage of it. Take advantage of it. I challenge you. What I'm really looking for is people to subscribe on a regular basis. You've already done one of the other subscriptions. Great. Go up to the next level. Work with me personally. Every single person that I've worked with, their life has been transformed if they follow my instructions. I got this new thing now where you can go, don't have to worry about me. You can go straight to light beings, channel.thunderwizard.com. And I didn't know what was going to happen. And sure enough, it works. It's really powerful if you want to have a reintegration experience. I'm going to start focusing on that more and more. And I now know that people who show up for these channeled readings, I was about to qualify, but I'm not going to do that. People, if you show up to these will be great opportunities for reintegration to your 5D self. So I challenge you to go the next step. And you will not only be supporting the channel, which allows me to keep doing what I want to do, but you will shift. I guarantee you. There's nothing I offer that won't help you shift. All right, so you've got, you want to go to see everything, including the books, michaeldenney.org. Get my books. You've been watching my channel how long and you haven't bought the books? Read my books. And there it is. So that's it, my friends. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. I look forward to reading in the comments your experiences. And until next time, please be very good to yourselves. And I will see you all very, very soon.